Has there been a feedback or a performance that has changed you deeply, as a person or as an artist, that you can think of? Like a huge dramatic shift.
Nothing in terms of a dramatic shift is popping straight to the front of my mind, but what is coming to mind is that there's always more work to be done. It's never finished. And so knowing that you're working for 6 weeks, 7 weeks of rehearsal, plus all the prep work, and you're focusing so much of your energy on this and giving it your all, and then when it's done, you feel like, oh, there's nothing I could have possibly done. Like that's I gave it everything I had, and this was the absolute best that I could do. And then having people come in and give you feedback, and then going, oh my God, I didn't think about that. Like, how did I miss thinking about that, right? And so that culture of the repetition of that has helped me also remember and understand that there's always more. And even sometimes when you feel like I'm done, I don't know what else, I have no new thoughts to add to this, that there is something there. I think there's always something there, because theater is just so complex and so nuanced that there's always going to be more work that can be done on it. You just have to kind of find the moment when you're ready to step away from the canvas and go, okay.
It's like a person. It's evolving
Yes.
at all times. From
Yes.
birth to death, there's no such a thing as perfection.
And the world around you is evolving too. And that's affecting the work and how people respond to it. So it's a living, as you said, it's a living, breathing thing.
What was the biggest and scariest risks you've ever taken on stage?
The dialects in Sweeney Todd was a big risk.
Okay.
That was that was a risk that I was like, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think usually what I've learned is the thing that nobody has ever done with that show is the thing that everyone is going to leave talking about. And usually that is the thing that is the scariest to do, because you're thinking, maybe I've never seen this before. Like, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know how people are going to respond to it.
Was it the dialect?
It was the dialects. Yeah. I don't know, it's possible, but I don't know of any other production of Sweeney Todd that's ever used American dialects before.
How did it work?
Well, the idea came about because I wanted to tell the story. I wanted to explore the question of America's relationship to an obsession with true crime and violence today.
And it was back in 1980s, right? It was written in 1980s.
Yes. Well, the show is written to be Victorian England in the 1800s, but I wanted to explore, knowing that it's for an American audience, how do we connect to the story in terms of obsession with understanding the psychological background of people who do incomprehensible things, right? Sweeney Todd is this character he's essentially very much like a modern day serial killer.
Yes.
They're everywhere on Netflix. I mean, they're so popular. There's all these documentaries about understanding why did Jeffrey Dahmer do what he did, or why did Ted Bundy do what he did? Who was this person? What was his upbringing? How could this person do something that is so inhumane? And oftentimes in those documentaries, you develop a lot of empathy for those people, and you're also horrified by what they did. There's this interesting duality within these people, that they have really tragic stories that make you feel so deeply for them, and yet you absolutely hate them and think that they are the devil. So that was something I wanted to explore, and then also just comment on our culture of being obsessed with those stories, and should we be digesting that content, and is that something that we should really be putting energy and focus into? Is that celebritization? Is that glorification? Or is that a means of protection for ourselves for the future? Like what is it that drives us to do that? So that's what led me to the idea of telling the story in the golden era of serial killers in America in the 1980s, and re-looking at this story through that frame. And typically the ensemble is this kind of Brechtian, Victorian, British people who are sometimes factory workers, sometimes they're just people of citizens of London, right? Who are telling the audience about what happened. But I really wanted to activate them in a new way. And so they became the stages of the crime scene as they were dissecting and understanding how Sweeney did what he did. So that was all about their obsession with knowing every detail about what he did and how he did it and why he did it. And so the question then came about, okay, well, it's going to be set in America. It's going to be in the 1980s. It's like a parallel universe, right? Because of course the material is what it is. It's not like a 1-to-1 ratio in terms of that period and this period I'm setting it in, and the language and the dialects, or the text is what it is, right? They're referencing London. It's in the music. There's nothing I can really do about that. So I knew that there was going to be this, it was going to be, what's what I'm looking for? Not disjointed, but there was a dissonance. There was going to be dissonance between visually and orally what we're hearing and then what is actually on the page, but there was going to be a lot of overlap. So I thought, I think they have to do it in American dialects, but I don't know what that's going to sound like. And then the more I considered that not doing the dialects, the more I thought, I don't know how we could look at something and see it as being 1980s America, but then not hear what it would sound like. So I did a little bit of workshopping on it to try different dialects for different characters, because typically Mrs. Lovett is Cockney, and a huge part of the play is about the class divide, and the dialects, of course, in England are so tied to class, whereas in America that's not the case. So I had to figure out, how could I tell that same story of the class divide, and how could I also honor what is on the page in terms of these characters who speak with Cockney dialects, and what other dialect would they have in an American world. So I workshopped it. I tried different dialects and explored if it could work and if it would make sense, and then I auditioned them for people to hear and how they responded to it. And Anne Bogart was someone who was like, you have to do it with the American dialect. Like you need to like definitely try it and follow through on it. And that's one of the things that people talk about most after that production, because they've just never heard Mrs. Lovett be Southern before. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Signature mind. That's it. That's it. Taking like scary risks that takes you to uniqueness.
Yes.
At the end of the day.
Yes. I think they get scariest when you don't know, you don't have as much experience in that realm,
Which realm?
like I'm not a dialect expert. So the having to do something so huge and impactful and important on the show that I am not super versed in makes it scarier, if that makes sense. I think if I was somebody who was very trained in dialects, then this might be a natural choice for me to explore, but I don't. It's similar when I did Next to Normal, the sound was all through it was like 4D sound through headphones, and the audience wore headphones.
Yeah.
But I'm not a sound designer, you know what I mean? So it's also like I don't know how that's going to work exactly. But when it's something that I have experience doing, then I have a better idea in my head of, okay, I know how I'm going to execute this and how I'm going to pull this off. Those other big ideas are more dependent on other collaborators to help me make those ideas possible and become a reality.
Well, aren't these bold ideas that make you stand out?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Fear. Where there's fear, you just have to explore it and see.
Yeah, you have to explore it. And you have to know to ask for help when you need help from your collaborators, and to find people that can help you do the things that you want to do so that it can be successful.
What is the place of vulnerability in your artistic journey? Do you practice it a lot, or do you...
Being vulnerable?
Yes. How do you describe this? How do you describe and use vulnerability in your practice?
Sharing ideas is vulnerable.
Okay.
Putting your idea out there is vulnerable, because somebody can always come back and go, what? That's so stupid. I hate that. Or why would you do that? Right? So there's vulnerability in the leap that goes from having the idea in your head, percolating it, being in conversation with yourself, and then actually putting it out into the world and sharing it with somebody. Usually what I found, the more you do it, 75 to 80% of the time, somebody thinks it's a better idea than you realized it was, or they're more excited about it than even you were. And so it's vulnerable, but it's important to share it, because that's also how you know, okay, yes, this is like definitely something that I need to keep working on and pursuing. I didn't know that people were going to respond so strongly to it, or, you know, less often, but people will say, I don't know, what else you got? You know, I don't know.
But I also noticed and admire this about you, that you create that space for actors to be vulnerable too.
Mm-hmm.
And I really appreciated that, because you let them talk. You let them come to you and tell you, hey, I think this part, maybe if it's executed this way, and you're so open to that too.
Yeah, well, I think it wouldn't be wise not to. You know that you picked really smart people who have so much to offer to be a part of the production. And so everybody in that room is a valuable asset to telling the story and exploring how we are going to tell it. I can have the bigger picture, right? And have ideas about these characters' journeys, but all of the actors are living inside of it. They're living within those characters' journeys, and so they're going to pick up on things that I didn't pick up on in the first pass, or new insights that they have in terms of being inside of it in the world that we're constructing. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
What does success mean to you? How do you define it?
Oh, well, success is different for everyone, I think.
How does Miles define?
How do I define success? Well, I don't believe in failure.
Okay. What is failure to you? What is the thing that they call failure?
To me, I think maybe I don't know what it is, and that's why I'm not interested in it. It's not something I use in conversation with myself. I think every experience has really positive things that come out of it, things you learn, things you tried that were successful, and aspects of it that were not. right? But that's not failure. That's just trying something and recognizing that maybe you missed a step, or that you made a wrong turn and it impacted you in the end. And that's information for the future. But I think, to me, success and failure is so black and white that I don't know that I've ever done anything where I've been like, that was so successful, I wouldn't change a thing. And I don't have anything that I've been like, wow, everything about that was terrible, that was a fail. So
you don't have a concrete definition for it, that's just priceless. Because it's open.
I don't think it's helpful.
What do you mean?
Well, I don't think it's helpful to think in that way in terms of success and failure.
Okay. No, I mean,
I know you're agreeing with what I'm saying.
Yes, for sure. So please elaborate. How do you, okay, so let me actually rephrase it in this way. When would you tell yourself that I made it in this particular journey? Not necessarily to the finish line, because there is no such a thing as finish line.
Right.
But you like, okay, I walked on this path. I wanted to go down this path, and now I know I'm on the right path, and I made it to the alignment with my soul. Now
yes.
I go the journey.
Yes, I think that has to do with what goals you have set for yourself, and which you are actively working towards and achieving them. So I don't know that it ever ends. I don't know if there's ever a moment where you finally go, oh, I made it. Like, it might be a moment that you achieved one of your goals that was particularly hard to attain, or something you really wanted that happened. But something I've been considering is, there are a lot of people who want to have their goal fulfilled and, in a sense, granted to them.
On a
because
silver platter.
On
a silver platter.
Well, no, just in that it is offered to them, because that is validating, and that is somebody saying, I see what you're doing and I want to give you this, or I want you to do this, right? Versus if I want to do something, or I have a goal and I reach out to somebody to achieve that goal, and they say no, so then I go over here and I try this idea out, right? Or I try this path and that doesn't work, so I go back to this and I keep not letting no be an answer. And then I achieve it. I get that opportunity that I want. I feel the responsibility. I'm the person who went out of my way to get this thing.
Yes.
Right? Does that make sense? Which is different than somebody coming out of nowhere and saying, I want you to come and direct this thing, or I want to produce this thing, or I want to cast you in this role. Right? Which is a different feeling that you get, because it's not something that you go, oh, I made that happen.
Got it.
And I think a lot of people want somebody to see them and recognize what they're doing and give them something to validate that, which feels better than going out of your way to make something happen for yourself and know that wouldn't have happened if you hadn't worked to get it.
Goosebumps. True. And it's so powerful.
I normally don't get emotional when I achieve things. You know, when you see those videos of people who are like, they wanted something, they had this goal, and then they got it, and like they're crying and they're so emotional about it. That never happens, because for me, at least, it hasn't happened, because I go, oh, okay, like this thing that I really wanted, that I worked towards, is a go. It's happening, and now I actually have to do that thing, right? I have to actually like really put my time and my energy into focus now. and do that thing. So I don't like getting into grad school, for instance, is one of those things. I didn't have my undergraduate degree finished. I didn't know if they were going to let me go. I was not going to submit my application at the last minute because they said I needed to have an undergraduate degree.
At
And,
Columbia.
and I just sent in the application anyways, just pushed myself to just see what would happen. Got a call back, got the offer, and I went, oh shit, I have to finish my undergraduate degree now in time to online in order to go do this thing. How am I going to do that? Right. So it was like all about the next thing. It wasn't like, I succeeded now, I got into grad school. You know what I mean? And it's also, it was something that I had to really, really make happen. I mean, of course, they gave me the opportunity, which I'm very grateful for, but I also had to be willing to put myself out there and take those risks and send the application, even though I knew I didn't have an undergraduate degree, so that they might just completely disregard the application. You know, there's like so many details and circumstances that go into achieving just one thing, right? That it's different than just being recognized and getting an opportunity for just being you.
Exactly. So this is the kind of mindset that makes you you. That makes you the Miles, the one and only.
Well, it can feel like a letdown sometimes, I guess is what I'm saying in some capacity. It can feel like a letdown. Or it can feel like now I've gotten to here, but now there's a new goalpost that I have to get to. That's next, now that I have been given the opportunity to get to this place, right? So
I mean, you're still doing your part as a person. You're still taking actions and being proactive about it.
Yes.
But you're not attached to them.
Right. I'm not attached to the results, I guess is what I'm saying. Because I know if that result becomes a reality, there's a whole new set of work that is opening up for you that you need to follow through on and work towards. So
what are your top, well, I'm sure we gathered all this in this wonderful interview, and I'm so happy that I got to speak with you about all this.
Same.
I always wonder, what is he thinking that he's so happy? Now I have it on record.
I loved this. I loved getting to talk to you. These are such good questions.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, Miles. What are the top three, let's just say three for now. What are the top three qualities of Miles?
Yes.
That kept you going in your journey for you? What are the three top qualities that you rely on as your own self in your life and in your creative journey and in your everyday, encounters that keep you going, push you forward, and keep you grounded as the person that you are?
Creativity for sure. Just knowing that you are here to create, that is like my God. So I try not to let anything stop me from creating and making something. Ambition. I think sometimes ambition is seen as being naive or not doing something that is above what you are currently capable of doing, where somebody might be like, oh, that was really ambitious of them to do this. I think ambition is everything. It's incredible. I admire people who have big ambition and then are committed to following through on their ambition. So if I don't feel challenged, it's not, that it doesn't get me going. It doesn't keep me right. And there has to be something about it that's ambitious that makes me go, ooh, I want to see if I can do that. I want to see if I can, that may be something I haven't done before that's going to give me a new experience or teach me something new. creativity, ambition, and uh, I would say perseverance.
Perseverance.
Perseverance is important. Just not, as we were talking about success and failure. I think it's Barbara Corcoran, from Shark Tank. She's like the
Yes, yes.
yeah. She has a quote about success. I'm putting in air quotes for people who can't see me.
Yeah.
Success, whatever that is, that the people who are the most successful are the people who pick themselves up from failure the quickest. And I think part of perseverance is not allowing somebody to know, or not allowing somebody who doesn't maybe see what you are seeing to stop you from doing the thing that you want to do and stop you from pursuing it. And I think that those mini rejections can be tough. They can be really challenging. They can really set you back if you let them. But if you don't let them, and you go, okay, great, that's one person's opinion, I totally respect that. And maybe there's something very valuable. There probably is something very valuable in the information you're getting from that, and from what they're saying, which is maybe you're looking in the wrong place, or you're not communicating something about what you're trying to do clearly enough for them to understand what it is that you're trying to do.
Have you
So
ever had it? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
no, not at all. So, but that it's, again, it's not a failure. It's something not going the way you wanted it to go, and then reflecting on it and trying to learn so that you can become stronger in your succeeding, essentially.